Welcome in everyone to the Blue Demon Room podcast, where DePaul Athletics is so excited to bring you stories of its student athletes, coaches, and alumni. I'm your host, Casey Standahar, and I'm thrilled to introduce our very next guests today on the podcast, seniors and co-captains of DePaul cheer. We have Gwen Halik and Jamya Whitman. Ladies, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
I'm so excited to talk to you both because I cheered in high school, didn't cheer in college, but always admired people that do because I couldn't tumble. And so I just was never going to make the cheer team. So very excited to hear perspective from two of our cheer co-captains here. How long have you two been cheering together?
We actually started together. Yeah, that's how we met. So we've been cheering together, in total, in total we've been cheering for 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But together for
12?
12,
yeah. Yeah, because we didn't cheer together in high school because we didn't go to the same high schools. We actually never went to the same school until now.
Okay.
Actually, we live 5 minutes away from each other, but because of how the lines are drawn or whatever with districts, I went to one school and then she went to other schools. But we did rec cheer together, so that's how we ended up meeting.
And this was in high school that you lived close together before college.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you're both from the area, the Chicagoland area. And have you been in other, types of cheer? Is it sideline, all-star? How do those different cheer types differ from what you do now at DePaul?
We've done a lot. I feel like there's a lot of variations of cheer. So I think we've done kind of the same ones, but we did rec cheer 1st through 8th grade. Me personally, I did my middle school cheer team. Plus I also did a rec. And then I also did all-star in middle school as well. And then coming to high school, I did high school cheer and I did 2 years of all-star. And then now I'm in college. So it's each one's very different. Some include cheers in the routine. Some you're cheering for games. All-star is our version of club cheer. So you really just get a routine and practice and perfect it the whole year and just do a whole bunch of competitions. So it definitely varies quite a bit. There's less cheering for other teams, and in rec you only cheer for football. So it kind of comes a little different here where we're cheering for basketball and volleyball, which I never cheered for before I came to DePaul. So that was a new experience for sure.
Yeah, and I started out with rec cheer, how Gwen was saying, we started together. I did rec up until I was in 8th grade. I didn't do cheer in middle school just because my middle school didn't have a cheer team. They just had pom, which is very different. And then once, in middle school we also did our all-star cheer together. So I did all-star for 2 years. And then I cheered at my high school on the varsity team, and I loved that experience. Being able to go to state was really fun, and we cheered at football and we cheered at basketball, which was also kind of a good experience to have since we cheer for basketball now. And then I decided to cheer in college because I was not done with it in and of the slightest. So, and now here we are, which it's pretty similar to how high school was, but it's just more elevated in my opinion.
Yeah.
Gwen, you decided to go to DePaul first. What drew you to this school?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors. I think cheer was definitely one that I didn't want to tell myself I was going to really let be a factor, but I really wanted to cheer in college. And I think I knew someone who went here. She was on the team and I cheered with her in high school, and so I talked a lot about cheer and at DePaul with her, and so that definitely drew me to the school. But that, and then it's closeness, proximity. I have 2 younger siblings that are a lot younger than me. So my sister's 9, she's 13, sorry. My brother's 5. So yeah, so I think just being able to still be close to them and see them grow up and be able to go home was definitely an advantage that I wanted to maintain.
It's okay. I still think my brother's 21. He's 29.
Yeah.
He's forever 21 in my head.
You're not little? That's crazy.
Jamya, for you, did Gwen have an influence because she got here first, or what drew you to DePaul?
So for me, my college, looking for a college, that experience was very different for me just because, we're class of 2021, which was right when COVID was kind of making its way out, or wasn't, it wasn't fully gone yet. So a lot of schools weren't really doing tours, and there wasn't a lot of information online. So my college search was just a bit different, didn't really understand a whole bunch of stuff that came to it. And I knew that DePaul was doing tours because Gwen had spoken to me about it and how some of her relatives had gone here. And I was okay, I'll go on a tour. And I knew they had a really good computing program, and the CDM is a very good college. So I came here and I toured, and then I went online and I decided to put in an application and everything just because she was please, you should apply, do it. They have a cheer team too, so if you want to cheer with me, me, we can do that. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? And then as soon as I got my acceptance, I called her and I was like, yeah, well, yeah, I'll go. And she was like,
That's awesome.
It was really funny, especially since I said this is the first time we've ever gone to the same school together.
Right.
So a very different and like exciting experience for me. And then having cheer was also a plus since I wanted to still do cheer.
Obviously, DePaul basketball and just Big East basketball in general is very exciting. But was there pause because there wasn't football here? Like, is it different because there isn't the football cheer situation?
Yeah, I would say for me, it's not that there was a pause, but it definitely is a different experience. I mean, basketball is great. Don't get me wrong. It's really fun to cheer for. Like, being on the side of the court is, like, an experience, like, I'll never forget, and I'm very thankful for it. But I just love football, like, the sport itself.
Sure.
So cheering for it, I'm super engaged, like, ready to go. So that's definitely something I think I miss the most coming out of, like, high school into this. I think, too, especially because, like, in high school, like Jamya said, we were graduating in 2021, so we kind of had an adjusted year. Like, my fall of my senior year wasn't really the same. So, like, we cheered for some football games, but it wasn't really the same. So,
Right.
Little different experience, but, yeah, I don't think it was, like, a setback, but I definitely wish we had it for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it didn't really influence my decision. At least I came from a high school program that was like strictly like we only really cared about competition. Like, we didn't really care about like cheering for other teams or anything like that. Like, I remember being on the sidelines at football games and like, yes, we would still cheer and like do our job and like do our halftime routines and all of that. But then parents would be like, why aren't they doing enough cheers? Like, blah, 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 this and that. And my coach, she just like, it was important for us to like still look good on the sideline and still do our job. But she was like, oh, what I care about at the end of the day is getting us to state and getting us like a sectionals win and getting us a conference win. So game day like always wasn't at the forefront of my mind anyway. So when I knew that DePaul didn't have football, it didn't really like change
Sure.
like my decision on anything.
With that said, and coming from a situation where you were really focused on competition and making state, how do you two feel that you influence the game day experience? I mean, it does matter having you guys courtside or, you know, courtside for volleyball, whatever it might be. I mean, do you really feel like you guys can help, maybe not impact the game, but enhance the game?
I would say definitely for sure. One, being able to interact with the crowd is one of like the best parts of game day. Like the amount of times that we'll be like just walking like around Wintrust, like getting to our spots, and then we have like children like come up to us and there's little girls with like pom-poms and other things like that wanting to take photos with us. Like that's what's so enriching about the game day experience, at least for me. Like I love those interactions with fans, and then also being able to like interact with dibs too, like, and being with dance also. Like it's this elevated environment that's really, really fun. And I honestly do think that our presence does affect it, because there's a lot of times when like if morale is kind of low and like say the team isn't doing that great and they kind of need that extra like energy, we're able to give it, which also helps the crowd be more engaged in it as well.
Sure.
And overall could impact how the players are doing and maybe give them that like confidence boost that they need or that energy boost that they need. So I honestly do think that we have like that impact, maybe like not directly like on the players per se, because like they're obviously focused on the game, like, and that's what we want them to be focused on, but being there to like support them, and then the crowd also being able to like contribute to that support is honestly what I think what makes the game day experience like so much more fun, and being able to like actually impact what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of times you hear players in post-game interviews say, you know, the crowd, the home crowd tonight, they were with us, they were behind us 100%, our fans, we thank you. And that does matter, and you guys are really at the forefront of that. So I think that's just really cool. What are some of the sports that you are cheering for? Is it just basketball and volleyball?
Yeah, mostly we cheer for some volleyball games in the fall, and then our like main game day sport is going to be basketball. We cheer for every men and women's home game, and then we also travel with them when they have their tournaments.
Very cool. Any pregame basketball rituals that you guys do that you have to do it before every game?
I wonder if I have any.
I'd say like not really like a ritual, but it's just, I would say it is routine for me to do it. Usually I get ready for a basketball game 2 hours before, like every single time, like consistently. And it's because like you have to do like full face, like full beat, on your face, like, and that can take like a decent amount of time. Like, there's nothing more frustrating than when you're trying to do your eyeliner and you have to redo it for like the 5th time because it's not the same on the other side. And sometimes you need that extra like 20-30 minutes to fix that. So like getting ready in advance, like the 2 hours that I need, and then also making sure that your hair is done also, and then making sure your game day bag is packed also, because forgetting something is like your
You
worst
never know
fear.
what you're gonna need.
Oh, gosh,
Right.
yeah.
Your worst fear is forgetting something on game day. And like Gwen can even attest to this, like her freshman year, like she forgot her entire uniform.
I did. It was really bad.
What did you do?
Okay, so I like brought it home because like we're not supposed to machine wash them. So I brought it home and I was like, okay, I'm hand washing my uniform. It's gonna be ready for the game. Like, and I fully like grabbed the wrong bag on the way to the game. And I get there and I like open it up and my heart's like, I was like, oh my God. Like I was like, I went to our athletic director or our like spirit director and I was like, I don't have my uniform. Like I literally forgot it. I mean, luckily we had like some extra pieces and we like swapped some stuff around and made it work. But like typically if that happens, like you have to sit out.
Right.
So I was like, oh my God, like this is not gonna go well, but it ended up being fine, which is nice.
Right.
But,
So like having that extra time is super important to make sure double, triple, quadruple check that you have everything.
Right.
Because there was even a time this year I left my shoes at home and I had to wear flyer shoes and they were like 3 sizes smaller than my feet. So I had hurt feet the rest of the entire game. And tumbling in shoes that are a lot smaller than yours, it's not fun.
No.
So I would say like just really trying to like be focused on like getting ready for game day to make sure that once I get to the game, I don't have to worry about literally anything.
Right.
Like it makes it a lot easier and you're a lot more calm, and then you just have to do your warm up, get changed, and then get out there on the court.
I think I don't have any like rituals per se, but every time I get ready, I will put on whatever like TV show I'm watching at the time. So like for a while, it was Survivor for a long minute, or just like whatever I'm binge watching, it has to be on while I get ready.
How close do you both have to be, and all of the whole entire team have to be really paying attention to the game? I mean, basketball is changing from offense to defense so much, so quickly. So how dialed in do you feel like you guys have to be to do your job well?
I think for us, like, especially as captains, we have to be extremely dialed in. I mean, we're the ones calling the chants on the side, knowing, like, oh, there's a timeout, like, what's happening next? Like, we're the ones that have to, like, our coaches will come and, like, tell us, like, hey, like, this timeout's going next, but we very much have to be like, hey, guys, like, I don't know, like, Cincy's going or whatever. So we definitely have to be, like, dialed in to knowing what's happening, just because it does move very fast, especially with those timeouts. So, and, like, our cheers, we won't necessarily like stop them when they switch between offense to defense. We'll just switch to saying
The name.
offense. So
Yeah.
like we have to make sure that we're paying attention in that way. And I think, because it's really awkward when you're yelling defense and we are trying to shoot a basket. So.
Right. Yeah. Right. So this past season, DePaul basketball went through a lot of changes. New coach, pretty much entire new team. Has this new attention on the team sort of put any pressure additionally on you guys on the cheer squad?
I would say no, just because the expectations that our spirit director and our head coach have of us, it has always been like really high when it comes to game day, and they always make sure that we're really prepared for game day. Like all of the material that we get for it usually happens in the summer, and we recently just like re-recorded like all of the cheers that we do, all of the step touches we do, which are the little like dances that we do on the side, and like fight song and all of that stuff. We just like re-recorded all of that, so then all of our like underclassmen were able to learn all of that material before coming to practice, so then we can practice all of that, practicing all of our timeouts that we do, having names for them, and really understanding like how game day works and everything. So I think because that expectation is already so high and we practice so much, there wasn't really like a shift in needing to like do more, because we're already doing like what we should be doing, if not more than that. Especially like I have seen in comparison to like some other schools on the way they do game day, and it is a bit less than what we do, but that's just because our expectations are a bit different, and we're expected to do more. So I'd say if anything, like we just continue to do what we've always been doing and continue to do like a great job staying focused at games and just working really hard when it comes to it.
Is it friendly among other, competition? Like when you meet cheerleaders from other schools, is it like bring it on, or is it like
No, I'd say
nice?
like the cheer community itself is like very different. Like when we traveled to New York, for example, for the men's tournament, we did a lot of like media stuff with other teams. Like we were with Villanova and like Butler, and
Oh, I saw some of that.
yeah.
That
So
was
we're like
cute.
we're talking with them and like goofing around and stuff. So it's very like just a good time. And even when we get to like when it comes to nationals, like you walk around, everyone's like, oh my gosh, good luck, like you're gonna kill it out there, like you're gonna do a great job, like go have fun, like own the mat, like stuff like that. And I think everyone's just very encouraging. And we have this thing also in the cheer community. It's like these clothespins that you decorate, and they'll have like either your team name on it, or they'll be like, oh, you got this, or like just little positive sayings, and it's like a big thing. You like secretly put it on someone's bag, so like you don't know that you're getting it, and then like you'll turn around and you're like, oh my gosh, someone pinned me, like that's so sweet. So it's just like these little I think moments of encouragement, because like you're never really in a space where other people understand what cheer is like you do, and then you get to nationals and it's like this like big environment where everyone's like, yeah, we get it, you know? So it's like really encouraging.
That's really cool. I love that. Is there an arena that you both enjoy cheering at? Like one you're like, oh, this is so fun when we go to this school?
Madison Square Garden.
Square
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden's like really, really fun. And like the environment is just so different just because it's also huge.
Right.
And there's nothing really like it in comparison, at least like what we've experienced so far. And like I will always love Wintrust, like always and forever, especially because Wintrust is now like a space of comfort. It's not really like intimidating to us anymore since we've cheered like literally over 100 games in Wintrust. So whenever we get in there, like I remember walking into one of like the first games of the season and I was like, why does it feel small in here? And like my freshman year, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like huge. This is terrifying. But now like as a senior, I'm like, oh, like this is home. Like this is where we're meant to be at. And this is like my level of like comfortability. So like MSG like is a very big difference in comparison to Wintrust. Like I will always love the energy in the space of Wintrust, but MSG like the energy there was like completely like different than what we've ever experienced. So it's super fun.
I will say too, like there's been times where Wintrust has rivaled like the feeling of MSG. Like when we have like the sold out Marquette games, or like our freshman year, I think we played Loyola. Like those games were like packed, and like the energy in there was just like I would say like in very much in comparison to how it was at MSG. So there's definitely been times where I've like thoroughly enjoyed like being at Wintrust, but which I enjoy it every time. But like there's been some times where I'm like, wait, this is like almost the same as when we're at the big tournaments, and then it gets like even more fun to just be there at like your home court too, which is fun.
I want to know what gets you both in the mood to cheer. Is it like a TV show? Is it putting on your makeup and packing your bag? Like what kind of gets you guys excited about game day?
I think for me, one, definitely like how I was saying that I need to take like those 2 hours to get ready. Part of those 2 hours is also like mentally preparing to have to like smile for like 2 hours straight without like fail. So I think it's just like Gwen was saying, I love also watching like shows that I enjoy or like listening to music that I enjoy before a game. There is sometimes where we play music like on the bus, like on the way there, or in the locker room before we go and cheer, just because like if we're not hype, then the crowd's probably not going to be hype either. And sometimes you have to like really like dig deep to make sure that you have that energy, because sometimes like you've had a really long day, or sometimes like you've had a bad day, like even, or haven't had a lot of sleep, you haven't really eaten a lot, and you really have to like find the energy to like give what needs to be given at the game. Even if it's like when you're on the court, like you're giving it 110%, and then when you go back to the locker room, you're like, oh my gosh, now I can like relax for like a couple of minutes, you know? So it's definitely like listening to music. Like I love doing that like before a game. It definitely like gets me like hyped up.
Yeah, I think for me too, like I'm involved in a lot outside of cheers, so sometimes it's like having that reset when I'm getting ready, like watching my show of like, okay, like whatever, forget everything else that happened today, but like it's time to cheer. And I think also that comes into play of like just being around my teammates, like give little jokes with them, or like little interactions like can really hype you up. Or like one of our teammates, Echo, would always make like a candy salad like Ziploc baggie for us like every game. And so like sometimes halfway through I'm like, oh my gosh, like where's this energy coming from? Like the candy salad. Yeah, like that.
Wait, so what is a candy salad? Just a bag of different candies?
A bag of a bunch of different candies, like sour watermelon, like oh gosh, anything. Peach rings are a fan favorite of the DePaul cheer team, I will say. But yeah, so like little things like that, just like with your team, and like anything to like keep you pushing along. We are also fans of like Bubbler and Celsius, of course, like a little energy before the game.
Sure.
But, yeah.
I imagine it is hard because you could be going through any different things, whether it's school, family related, relationship related, just not having a great day, and you kind of have to go there and like turn it on. So I admire that you guys have that skill set, and then you can kind of deal with things when you have a break, like you said. We do see you guys the most at basketball games, but you do also cheer at NCAA and Daytona. What is the difference between doing a game day experience and then doing NCAA?
I would say that it's like pretty different. I mean, a lot of the skills that you see us throw at games, especially this year, like when it comes to timeouts or like stunts on the side, are like a lot of times pieces of what we're gonna do in our nationals routine, or like skills we're working on to like either improve or like build upon for our nationals routine. But of course, you guys see us cheering the most, and there's no cheer in like our routine. So it's just dance and tumbling and stunts and like skills based. So that's very different, I would say. I don't know if it's like
Also,
flip.
I think like something that you can kind of compare it to, like if you've ever seen us do like a halftime like routine or done like a timeout, it's kind of like a larger version of that. So when we have practices like strictly for comp, like we're usually like honing in on every single skill that we have to execute in our routine, and we're like trying to perfect it. And as we like go through the entirety of the practice, then we'll start doing run-throughs of the routine, which is the same thing that we kind of do for those timeouts, where we'll practice like each and every skill that's in it, and then we're like, okay, we're gonna like count it out, and we're gonna do like all of the skills that are in it like full out, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna try it with music, and then we're gonna like do the whole thing. So that's usually how like those practices go. And if like you haven't seen like what those routines kind of look like for comp, like you get like a good idea of what that is when you see like the halftime routines or you see like the timeouts that we do.
You both were in your final year, so did you go into the season feeling any different, knowing this was your senior season?
I think I definitely did.
For me, no, I did not. It just felt normal. I don't know. Like at least for me, still now, I don't feel like I'm graduating in like a month.
Crazy.
Like everything still feels like the same to me. It's like, yeah, like I'm gonna show up to tryouts. Like showing up to tryouts, like to judge the tryout, not to like be in the tryout.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, like everything just won't hit until like I'm actually like walking across like the stage, and like it's fully over. So
I think I really made it a point coming into this season to like be in the moment every time, because I know like you get into so many game days, you just like get in a routine and you like kind of go through not like kind of the motions, I guess, for lack of better words, but like you get used to it, so you kind of just flow through. And I think I really tried to this year, like be in the moment, like look around the gym and like take Wintrust in and like all of that stuff. And I even like said it at our camp at the beginning of the year, like we always are like, oh, do you have advice for like, you know, the freshmen or whatever? And I'm like, you know, take it all in, because it goes by so fast, like it's over before you know it. So I think I really just tried to like take it slow and not rush through it.
Yeah. The practice leading up to a competition, maybe it's nationals, what does that look like? I mean, you guys want to be at your very best for nationals, right? So what is that preparation like?
It varies. I mean, we practice 3 times a week for 3 hours typically. And that's a lot of it, like you said earlier, is kind of like honing in on skills, perfecting it, improving on them, seeing how we can like literally perfect it. I mean, that's how like we're scored. So just like nitpicking, like, oh, like let's try this, see if that works a little bit better. So we'll work on skills. We have a whole like dynamic warm-up that we go through, and then we'll do, once we like actually get our routine, it's a little bit different. We'll like go through parts of the routine, walk-throughs, mark-throughs, stunt-throughs, tumble-throughs, where we're like just doing all of our stunts, just doing all of our tumbling, or we'll do like half full out, first or second, and then we also of course do full outs. And I think it also goes into like, we have to strength train. I mean, without that, like we will not have the endurance to do it. So typically we have about like 2 scheduled workouts at the Ray a week that we have to like go and do throughout the week, maintaining our cardio, running quite a bit, and also like making sure that we're lifting, because I mean, we're lifting people, so we got to be in the gym like training that mechanics for sure.
Yeah, and also the week before nationals actually happened, we have something called work week, and basically we have practice sometimes 2 times a day, every single day. So we'll like have a morning practice, for example, and then maybe like 3-4 hours later we would have like a night practice. and then we'll come back the next day, maybe have one practice, and then the day after that have two. It all just depends on what we really need during the season and how well we're doing. And usually how those practices work, it's kind of like how a normal like comp practice would go, but the goal is to like do our full outs at least like once per practice. So it's kind of like, I guess in comparison, like if you're thinking of like gymnastics, like if you have a floor routine, you're running that full floor routine at least one time, maybe twice, depending on how it went. And the goal is obviously for everything to hit, for all tumbling to land and stuff like that. And anything that doesn't hit or doesn't land, we have to make up for it like afterward. And that could mean like doing it, okay, we're gonna do it 5 times in a row right after the full out when you're tired. So then like if you're able to do it when you're tired right now, then you should be able to do it when you're tired in the routine also. So it's really just trying to build up that endurance, because like once you start putting skills back to back to back, it can become a lot more difficult. Like doing like you're doing a tumbling pass like in the very beginning, and then right after that you're doing a whole stunt sequence, and then right after that you might have to jump, and then right after that you might have to do another tumbling pass, and there's not really a lot of time to think about each thing beforehand. You get that one breath, those 2 counts, like okay, now I have to do it, and then you just have to make sure that it hits no matter what, like really fighting for it. So it's trying to get in like that competition mindset, like that mentality and that championship mindset during that week, no matter how hard it is, because trust me, work week is very it's very hard, not on like your body but also on your mind too, but it's what most cheer teams do like in college to prepare for comp.
And I would say too, like just like any sport, we do film, so like we record everything, we're recording our full outs, and like we go home, we're like, okay, like I'm gonna look through this video, like what can I do better, where can I improve, like where it needs to change here and there. So I mean, yeah, it's a lot of like homework on us too, of like making sure that we're like maintaining like self-care of our bodies, like making sure that we're recovering properly, and just reviewing tape is like a big thing, watching those videos and like looking for those little things you can change, because they really do like make such a big difference.
Right, especially since they can be the difference between like first place and second place, or like whatever like placement that you get, it can like that's a fraction of a point. Like your pinky being out, that's like the difference between you winning or not.
Wow.
So
it comes down to some small stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
For sure.
So the stamina, and then just having every little detail like in check.
Yeah, we just cannot afford complacency for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is going through your head as you're stepping on the mat before competition? What are you saying to each other? What's going, through your mind in those final moments before you get out there to do the routine?
Goodness, I'm hoping I don't forget the routine.
It's really funny, because usually like what we try and tell our freshmen or anyone who hasn't competed before is that one, like when you get on the mat, usually the way it looks is that it's like darkness. Like all you will see is basically the mat, your teammates, and then bright lights. That's all you're gonna see. And there's probably a really huge crowd in front of you, but you can't see them because of how dark everything outside of the mat is. So we try to tell them like for lack of a better phrase, don't go into the light, which basically means like don't get too distracted in like the brightness of the lights and everything, and really trying to stay present when you're on the mat, and like taking in the fact that like, oh, this teammate is right next to me and like this person's here, but like that doesn't make a difference of what we've done in McGrath. Like we're still doing the same thing. There's still 9 panels. There's still 8 tapes on the floor. Like there's no difference between it, except now we're just on a stage, and now there's bright lights. So really trying to remind people to ground themselves before they start, because it's really easy to get ahead of yourself when the adrenaline is pumping and you're nervous and you only get like that one chance to do it. So it's really trying to tell people, just take a deep breath and remember that like we've done this like 30 plus times by now. So there's no reason to like think of it as anything different. And really just taking that deep breath. We always have like our little things that we do like on the mat beforehand. Like I know like Gwen's side of the mat, like they did like a like this where they were like locking in. And then like my side of the mat, like we would fist bump, and then we'd like pat our backs and we'd be like, I love you guys, like let's do it beforehand. So like sometimes doing those things can also help like ground you and be like, oh, like everyone on this mat is like doing it for each other, because that's the whole purpose of it.
I think also it's like, at least for me before I go on, I like really try to like control my breathing and like get in my head of like, you've done it a million times, you got this, because I think like your mind is very powerful and it can really control a lot of things, so I try to use that to my advantage before I take the mat. But yeah, I do get scared like before the music turns on. I'm like, wait, what's my first motion? Like I have to think about it for a second. I'm like, okay, no, it's fine, like I got it. But I think it's definitely nerve-wracking going on the stage, so you're having to battle that, because you're like watching these teams slowly go ahead of you, and like you're waiting in in that back spot for like quite a bit, and you hear other people's routines going, so your heart rate kind of goes up a little bit. Like I can feel it now, like thinking about it, but I think it's just like, yeah, trying to stay in our own little bubble. And a lot of that comes from, like, we all have little handshakes we make with each other that we do before we take the mat and even on the mat. And just like when we're actually performing our routine, having little things to say to each other to like help us, remind us that we're in it. Like we give cues for all of our stunts, like down, dip, like legs, like cues like that, but also like as I pass, I'm like, oh, you got this, like you're capable, or like little things like that. So
and like encouraging each other like during the routine is probably like one of the most important parts of it, especially like there's probably parts of a routine that you're a little bit more nervous about because maybe it like hasn't hit as many times as you've wanted it to, or it's a newer skill, so you're just throwing it on the mat for the first time. Like one of our teammates, Caden, got his like cartwheel tuck for the first time this year, and he was competing it, which is a very big thing from going from a non-tumbler the year before to throwing a skill on the nationals floor for the first time. And before, like we would set, like I'm setting for my cartwheel tuck right behind him, and I'm like, you got it, Caden, like right before.
Wow.
And then we're like throwing it, we're landing it, and we stand up and move, and like I see him standing up, and like obviously like he's not on the ground or anything. I'm like, yes, like you landed it. Or like I'm about to do my pass, and he's like, you got to jam, like I need you to push like for this last part since it's like right at the very end. And like those are the moments where like that like one sentence is like night and day.
That's
like when
awesome.
I'm exhausted and my body's like, I don't really know if I can flip myself upside down right now. And like him saying that, or like other people saying certain things on the mat can like really, really help you with getting through like the 2.5 minutes.
there's times you get like halfway through the routine and I was like, oh my God, like how am I gonna do this next part? And we had it choreographed for like, we did a little clap with like we were paired up, and every time it was like me and my flyer for the next section, we're like, we got this, like we're gonna hit. And like just hearing someone else say it, you're like, yeah, you're right. Why am I even thinking we're not going to? So just like little moments like that where you're like, okay, you're right, I'm not alone, and like there's other people on this mat with me, and like I've done it a million times.
Yeah.
So.
Just that words of affirmation is really cool. I used to have the recurring dream when I would dance competitively that I would come out and not know the routine at all, or like I would miss my entrance, like just.
It's like every time I get on the mat, I'm like, wait, am I gonna forget? And then the music starts and it's like muscle memory,
Yeah.
like I'm right into it, but like
Right.
there's that split second you're like, wait a minute.
I don't know if I really know it. Yeah.
Hopefully I don't forget.
You both just not to make you guys sad, but you both just competed for the last time in your collegiate careers. Tell us about that final moment on the mat. Was it the encouragement from your teammates and your friends, and was there any sadness there?
Oh yeah, I definitely
We
cried.
sobbed like
Yeah,
on the mat,
for
like
sure.
right after, like because after we finish, like we usually have to like hold our ending pose, whatever, and then we like spirit off the mat, and like I kissed the mat like with my hand, and then like I turned around like to the seniors, and we were like just sobbing because like all of a sudden like on a random like Friday, like 16 years like comes to an end, and it's like it's really emotional, and it's like that's crazy that after all of that, like that's just where it finishes after only doing it for like 2.5 minutes, like that's over. And I was like in my dance, like dance is like the very end of the routine, and I was like, I can't get emotional yet, we're not at the end yet. We have to
smile.
Still have to smile, still have to like look good while doing the routine. But then like once we got off the mat afterwards, like we're like sobbing like in our like teammates' arms, and they're like thanking us for all that we've done and like being their captains and everything. It was like a very emotional moment. And then our parents were also outside after that, so they've seen us since we were little, both of our parents, like since we've known each other for so long, like seeing each other like come off the mat, like it's this weird like full circle moment where it's like finally like it's ended.
Especially like starting together too. Like my mom also like coached both of us, so it's like very different, and I like have it ingrained in my memory. Like I finished the dance and I just like immediately was like, oh my gosh, and I like smacked the ground, and I like kissed it too after you said that. I was like, yeah, like this is my mat, and I like tapped it, and like hugging off, like we have to spirit and like cheer us, be like come off the mat, and like we're like hugging, trying to do it, and I like was definitely crying. I tried to really hold myself together, but the second I ran outside that gym and saw my dad, like I hugged him, and I just like full like everything was gone. Like I just was like crying in his arms because I was like, I don't remember my life before cheer. Like I've been cheering for 16 years, and I can't remember a time I like, didn't have a cheer practice. I didn't have like that commitment or that thing going on. So it's a lot of emotions coming out of it, of just being proud of yourself, how far you've come, and like it's really like the end of like this chapter. Yeah.
Twofold question for you guys as we start to wrap up. How do you think your experience at DePaul has changed your friendship, and what's next for you both?
If anything, it probably hasn't really changed that much because it's basically the same as it always has been. Because you kind of have those friends that you've probably known for so long where they're like not even just like your friends, like this is basically like my sister at this point. Like we also live together too. So like the way that like sisters will probably treat each other is exactly like how we act, and like we're very much like yin and yang with each other. Like Gwen's like the like super excited, like very bubbly, like super sweet, and I'm more of like the like I'm more chill and relaxed, and like I just like can never muster up enough energy to try and like be like that like 24/7. So it's kind of nice to like have that balance of having the person that's like always so excited, and then I'm just like, why are we so excited? Like what is going on? I don't understand. So it's like really funny being like such opposites and like also being so close. So I say like our relationship doesn't feel any different, at least for me, as it did like before we started. If anything, it's just like it's just evolved, and it's just a little bit different now because now we're roommates, like co-captains and everything. So yeah,
I don't think it's really changed. We've just always been really close, and I think our moms being close too has helped a ton, and like living close by each other. So I think if anything, maybe like we're closer because we do so much together now, but like our friendship itself, values and everything hasn't really changed.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I think following this, I'm applying for physical therapy school in June, so that's very exciting. We also both work for the National Cheer Association, so we'll be traveling around this summer doing camps and helping out high school cheerleaders. So just really doing that. I also work as a physical therapy aide, so I'm going to be continuing that while I wait to hear back from physical therapy school.
Yeah, and then for me, I plan on looking at grad schools as well for computer science, and continuing to do like some personal projects like on my own. Like I actually have a project that I'm really proud of that I've started working on, and it's basically like this web application to help people who are like new pet owners or aspiring pet owners on how to like adopt their first dog for the first time, since a lot of people like adopt dogs for like the aesthetic or like the way they look and whatever it may be, when especially as someone who was a first time like dog owner ever like 2 years ago, like I had no idea what I was doing, and it was nice to at least have a friend who had like the same type of dog that I did. But there's some people who don't have that at all, and like it can really impact their pet negatively, depending on like what they end up doing like with their like pet owner like journey. So plan on like making a application like that to like help people in the Chicagoland area. And so I'm really excited to be working on that.
Very cool. And it's cool that you two have been such leaders on this DePaul team, and you're still able to give back and help with high schools. So very admirable. Couple fun questions, then we're going to get you out of here.
Cool.
Is there any sport that traditionally doesn't have cheerleading but you think should?
We were debating this.
Yeah,
I
we were
feel like
talking
there's a
about this.
lot that like could benefit. Like we don't cheer for rugby, but I feel like that'd be really fun.
Rugby
And like
would be
kind of
cool.
like
It's basically like football, so
like
like
it's kind of similar, you know. So I feel like that would translate pretty well.
or even like we were saying tennis too, because like
Yeah.
at least like teams where there may be in a little bit more like close proximity where they would still be able to like hear us and everything. I feel like tennis could really benefit from that, especially when they're doing like doubles matches and stuff. Like that camaraderie is like super important.
Yeah.
But we were saying like not golf, not because they don't need that, but because like you're so zoned in and focused. Like
a concentrated
I don't want to
sport,
like yell when you're like really trying to focus on like hitting the ball, you know? Like it's usually a lot more chill and a lot more calm, and usually when we get very excited on the sideline, we're like jumping and screaming and hollering, and it's like we don't want to distract them from that. But I think almost like every sport would deserve like cheerleaders, and like I would
wish
even
we
say
had
like I wish
cheerleaders.
we
I'm
had
not gonna
cheerleaders.
lie.
Cheerleaders
And-
be cheerleaders.
It makes a big difference,
because like
for sure.
my thing is that like since like our job like is to cheer for like everybody else, like when it's our turn to be cheered for, like who's going to do it?
Good point.
And like usually we just have to do it for ourselves, or the people who are like supporting us, like friends and family, and like even other friends that are in athletics too. But it would be nice to like have something that's like that.
For sure. I mean, we had some sports teams and some people from athletics come to our showcase. Like the women's basketball team all came out.
great.
And, like that was an amazing experience. Like having like someone else, like we heard them like yelling for us as we're performing, and like just the crowd in general, like cheering for us makes a big difference. Like we feel the motivation, and we're like, oh, like this is what other sports must feel like when we're cheering for them.
Yeah, it's
So-
kind of a thankless job, right?
Yeah.
Because you're doing all the cheering for everybody else, and it's like nice to have them support
yeah.
you guys as well.
for sure.
I think golf cheerleaders would be like an SNL skit. Like that's hilarious.
Yes,
Honestly,
it
SNL
would.
should
So
pick
funny.
that up. Like
Agreed,
that would be
agreed.
good.
Last question for you guys: if you could make a routine but the track could feature only one artist. Who would you choose?
Okay, so the thing is about cheer music, it's like kind of funny because like when you hear it, it's very much like it's a mixture of rap and kind of pop. Like it's very like kind of EDM-y.
Yeah.
Like it's like like it's very like loud and kind of obnoxious. And then you'll hear like
There's
people
these
on
random dings. And
random
it's like,
dings and like and like all that. So I would say definitely someone maybe like Steve Aoki would be kind of cool because like
Honestly,
he's a
he'd probably
DJ.
be at it, yeah.
But like also Eminem because like you could give him like anything and he could like rap. He could rap for hours
Yeah.
about it and he could be in the back like saying something about like cheer or whatever. Because in our like all of our cheer music has lyrics.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff that's said in it. Like
they're like all made by the guy who like makes our music.
Yeah.
So it's like custom made. Like I don't know I'm trying to think of an example of one.
yeah, I'm trying to think
Like
of these.
our saying this year was persevered through blood, sweat, and tears. So like that was in our music. Or like I can't think of there was like part during the jumps that I loved and I like can't think of it.
It's a mix of a lot of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
They just like say stuff like
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Yeah, like-
Chi-Town Stand Up or
Oh yeah,
like,
Chi-Town Stand Up.
Chi-Town to Daytona, we're coming for the crown, something like
Yeah.
that. Like it's like stuff like that. So you have to have someone who can freestyle. And I feel
Right,
like
someone's freestyle.
Eminem would be a great
Someone's who's
option.
maybe like a little cocky and like
Yeah.
Eminem can sound pretty good.
Marshall, Steve, if you're watching, listening right
Eminem,
now,
please.
make a cheer track for these two. We want you.
I know your daughter just got married.
Well,
but
ladies,
please.
it was great to have you on. Thank you so much for being on the Blue Demon Room podcast. We wish you all the best in your endeavors, and we're just grateful to have you on the show. So, Gwen, Jamya, thank you so much. And that was our episode of the Blue Demon Room podcast. We'll see you next time.